welcome to another episode of Van City Beats, Eats, and More. We kind of practiced that,
yeah,
but that turned out much better. Very natural.
Thank you.
Yes. Today I'm joined, my name is Kazi. I'm joined on the show today with Elsa, aka DJ DOOD, the number one dude that you want on the dance floor, playing your tunes, especially if you're a big fan of house, techno, and you are located in Van City, and you really like the queer parties, you really like the vibey parties. This is the one. I'm really, really excited to have you on the show. You've been a friend of mine for a really long time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and I've seen you from early beginnings of do on the guitar. You know, beautiful voice. For anyone who doesn't know, Elsa is an incredible musician as well.
Thank you.
You've been a big support for a lot of my early event organizing and circa 2016, 2017.
Yep.
And now I'm seeing you do the thing.
Yep.
Which is so cool.
I know. Working
with Public Disco, working now with Base Coast Festival, working with Vancouver Mural Fest. It has been, really inspiring and also just like beautiful to watch you.
Thank you.
Blossom and evolve.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so on the show today, wanted to talk to Elsa, get to know a little bit more and share with our community as well as whoever watches on TELUS Optic TV about her creative journey, her process, and the current state of Van City arts and culture, especially as somebody who organizes events. You know, they really have like the ground level view of what's going on, but also is like such a big part of shaping what is happening in 2024 and beyond. Yeah.
Wow. It's so fun to do this with you.
I know. How are you feeling?
Good.
How's your Sunday morning going so far?
It's chill. I took yesterday off, which I don't usually do, so I'm feeling really like rested.
Yeah. I'm always expecting if it was a Friday night or a Saturday night, I'm like, what rave did you go to
I know,
last
you're like,
night?
go out?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
No.
Taking a
We're
break.
doing coffees. It's Sunday. We're relaxing. And I also brought Elsa some treats.
Oh my God.
And I haven't eaten anything yet. So we're going to get into the treats first and foremost. Have you heard of Annabelle Choi?
No. Okay, I was saying I don't recognize, because I circuit the cafes around here.
Look at this very abstract kind of stamp logo. I want to shout out Annabelle Choi because she's a low-key legend. I did some research on her. I low-key really also want her on the show, but she's very busy. She kind of has like this cult following around her pastries. She has worked at Matchstick, a few other places, but now has officially opened up her own little cafe. And, you know, she calls it Annabelle Choi Studio. She also did like workshops on like sourdough and pastry making and whatever. So anyway, she's located on Kiefer and Columbia, or where Columbia becomes Quebec in Chinatown. And her pastries are very, very interesting in their flavor profiles, creatively speaking, and they're delicious. And it's the only place I will spend like $8 on a croissant. Not a regular croissant. Dun, 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 dun.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got four things.
Cookies.
Okay, so Elsa, this is called a miso walnut cookie. Okay. They pitched me on the like, do you like savory and sweet? I'm like, I'm Filipino. We put chocolate and cheese things together. You know what I mean? This is what you call a cardamom couinement.
Okay. Like
Do you
a
know
cardamom twist?
Yeah. Do you know the word in French? It's French word.
No.
Couinement.
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
I will say I'm very into baking though, so I'm excited.
Okay.
I am a low-key baker.
Okay, so this one is pumpkin and brie turnover.
Ooh.
This one is my favorite. This is the $8 thing, okay? It is worth it. It has prosciutto. It has like some sort of cheese. Oh, and then this word that I can't say, cannabizola or cannabizola. It's like a cranberry type of berry.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
okay.
really good. So we're going to sample this. Don't worry, Sean. We're going to save you some bites here. What would you like to try first, darling?
I feel like I want to go straight in for the goods. I want the $8.
Yeah.
I love a $1 croissant.
You're like, well, so my little thing is like, I like to go in there for my writing practice, get a coffee, and then order this, and then nibble this while I just sit there and people watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have a lot of cute dogs that walk in there.
Cute.
Is that honey on top?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Heck yeah.
You need your reaction shot. Yeah, you see this?
Yeah.
The walnut, the prosciutto, it's like
Oh, it's like a cream.
like a blue cheese type of cheese.
Yeah, totally.
You
Cheers.
know? Cheers.
Oh my god. So good.
It's like the first time every time.
It's so good.
You know what I mean?
The layers.
Talk to me about your early beginnings of, you know, how creativity was introduced to you. Music.
Oh,
Or any other art forms that, you know, you first got into.
earliest memory. We'll go really far back. As I had when I was a little kid, this Fisher Price cassette tape player with the mic.
So many
Do you know
people
what I'm
have.
talking about?
Of course I do.
Okay. Anyway, I had the Bananas and Pajamas cassette in there, and I was belting my little heart out.
Like bananas.
Yeah,
in
totally.
like that's what you were belting?
Yeah. And then I had other cassettes that my parents gave me, you know, like my parents are very into rock and R&B and blues, and
Your dad's a musician,
my
no?
dad's a musician, and so music was just always in my house, and we were always listening to music. And when I was a little kid, I didn't really, this is not a nose in the air thing, but I just really wasn't listening to the current music of the time. My parents were very like, well, whatever, Britney Spears, but here's Led Zeppelin. As if that was any more age appropriate, but you know, whatever. So
Speaking of that era, I'm seeing a poster here of Neil Young.
Yeah, Neil Young, like tons of, you know, just like really classic rock. And I got a guitar when I was like 5 years old and kind of started playing around with that. I don't think guitar really stuck until I was about like 10, when Avril Lavigne was hot. She had just come out with Skater Boy.
Let's talk about them arm warmers
And
them
every
stripy arm warmers.
Yeah, and the tie, and every, you know, girl that was playing guitar was just stoked, and I was stoked, and I was just spending a lot of time learning that. And then that kind of developed into me doing a rock school and recording arts program throughout high school that actually my dad taught, and he was my teacher, and music was just like, yeah, just always, I can't remember a time where music wasn't a part of my life, or like getting up on a stage. I was always like ready to be up on a stage. I was in the musicals or doing a talent show or whatever. It was just
Writing
always
your own stuff?
Writing my own music. I think I started writing my own music. I mean, at the age when every girl gets her diary and starts, you know, I think that's right about when I was like, I will write songs about this and we will process our feelings that way. That kind of graduated into me just like wanting to do music outside of high school. And I feel like right around my early 20s is when I had met you and was kind of like living in that mansion and playing in bands and jamming and recording music. And
Just to clarify, that mansion, it's called Thug's Mansion. Shout out.
Shout out Thug's Mansion.
It was an era of epic house parties in North Burnaby.
Yeah.
And you lived there.
Yeah. I had a little sublet for a while and was just surrounded by so many things, like skateboarders and artists,
other
and
musicians. I mean,
musicians.
how I came across it was the person I was dating at the time. Shout out to Armando, aka Ro, who's one of my good friends.
Yeah.
And he got asked to DJ this party. I was like, wait, I want to come to a mansion party. Like,
yeah,
what
and
are
I
you
was
talking
putting
about?
I was renting the gear from because I was working at Long and McQuaid. Oh, this is the other thing. In high school, I started working at Long and McQuaid, and so I was the half-price rental hookup, basically.
How did DJing really enter your life then?
Yeah, it's funny.
Because I don't even think I fully know that story. Like, I feel like all of a sudden I just heard you're like, yeah, I'm going to DJ. And then DOOD showed up.
Yeah. Everyone's like, that was a left turn. How did DJing come into my life? It took me until, you know, my early 20s of people bringing me to parties. And my first rave I ever went to was at Index, which was just down the street from 333.
You're really taking me down memory lane. Yeah.
And so I think Justin had taken us, and I had gone with Erica and all of them. And I just remember going and getting to the dance floor and being like really confused for the first like 10 minutes. Because at that point, my dancing experience had been on the Granville Strip or, you know, back in my hometown in Poco going to like Roosters, you know?
Not Roosters!
And so you would like, when you would go out dancing, it was like immediately you were like, okay, who's going to come grind with me? Like, who's going to come dance with me? You know, like, and it was just, you know, this whole like, we're out and we're trying to whatever, like dance. And I just remember getting to the rave and being like, no one's coming up to me. Like, what's going on? Do I smell? Like, this is so weird. Everyone's just looking that way and dancing on their own, which I've also never seen. We just had felt so, you have to be with your crew and everybody has to dance together if you want to dance.
The delineation of clubbing on Granville Street where you have to swat off people.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I just remember being really confused. And then finally it was like, okay, actually I think this is fun and I feel awkward and I'm not quite sure how to dance to this. And by the end of the night,
it was like techno or house.
Yeah, it was like back when Lo-Fi House was like really cool. And I couldn't even tell you who was DJing at the time, but I'm sure it was like a TripAdvisor party or something like that when the TripAdvisor parties used to happen. And yeah, I like left that night being like, that was the best thing ever. I had so much fun. So then anyway, Justin and Nick were like, okay, we've been to these parties, whatever, can you help us throw this one at 333? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll help you throw the party. And I think I had already thrown one other party there with Inez, and we had done Witch Hour. It was like Inez, Christine,
shout
Mira,
outs to Inez,
Ali,
Christine,
yes. And so we had done like a Witch Hour party there, and I had just helped with the decor and the sound and the whatever, but I wasn't DJing. And yeah, Justin and Nick were like, do this party, and I was like, okay. And then they're like, it would be cool if you did like an opening set, like you could learn how to do it, like whatever. And I was like, I don't know. And then 3 weeks before, I was like, okay, I'll do this. And then Nick and I, we had gotten a studio space at that point, and Nick and I were like, hey, we're going to do this. He's going to teach me how to DJ. And I was like, I'll be able to do this.
Wait,
like,
which Nick?
Nick McKenzie.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I got into the studio, and I just remember being like, oh no. Like, what have I signed up for? This is actually so hard. Like, I don't know anything about house music. I don't know how to dig for the music. I'm not good at beat matching. This is all these buttons are actually very confusing. And it just like became this like really daunting thing. And then I just went really hard on it for 3 weeks. And we actually ended up getting a radio show slot right before this party. And so my first DJ debut really was on N10S, the radio station out of Montreal. And we had like live streamed out of this spot in Vancouver. Cool. Like a record store, East 8 actually in Chinatown. And yeah, did that and then did the party that following weekend. And I just remember during the opening set being like, what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. How am I going to make people dance? And by the end of it was just like, that was the most fun I had ever had doing anything in front of anybody. Like, you know, like to play in a band and sing your own songs has its own special connection and moment. But there was just something about starting the party and getting people to dance and connecting over music that you really love that I just didn't quite understand until you do it. And I feel like there's so many DJs you talk to that are like, yeah, that first, like, you can DJ all you want out of your own house, but the second you finally do it in front of people and you get to feel this connection of like, oh, we're all really getting down to this song right now. Yeah, this song is great. Like, that was just sort of, and then immediately after that party, I was like, and let's do another one. Like, I want to keep DJing now. Like, this is so fun. And we got a radio show, and Nick, Justin, and I formed Purple House and had some other friends, Nicole and Allie and a few others helping out with it. And that was kind of really, really got into like full out, okay, we're going to throw parties and I'm going to DJ. And
how did DOOD, the name DJ DOOD, come about?
Yeah, I was telling Sean earlier, when I was working at Long and McQuaid, so during all this time I was working at Long and McQuaid, I was managing the music lesson center there. And one of the teachers, Annabelle, I was like, I'm going to DJ, and I'm trying to figure out a DJ name. And he's like, what if you called yourself DJ DOOD? And I was like, I don't know. It's really silly. I don't know. He's, yeah, but it's funny because, you know, you're a girl, and, like, people wouldn't be expecting it. And, you know, it feels like it fits your vibe. And I had, like, gone back to Justin and Nick, and I was like, what about DJ DOOD? And they're like, yeah, it's sick. Let's do it. And I was like, okay. And they're like, do it with 2 O's. And I don't know. It was just a really funny time. And, yeah, so it just turned into me being like, well, I'm just going to DJ this one party and then maybe I'll change my name. And now I've just been stuck with it.
No, but everyone should know, whatever you start with is what everyone is going to get stuck with. What would you say for people who don't know and aren't connected to like party scene, raving, you know, like everyone has a different definition of that. Even what like clubbing is or raving is. And like what you're describing has such a heart and soul of of like being so community centered. Like, how would you describe what you were discovering at that time and what spoke to you most?
I think honestly, like just being able to spark up conversations with people and have them invite you in. And then, you know, I think a lot of the time you can be at parties and have these like funny little smoke pit conversations, but they don't stick, and you know you're probably not gonna chat with that person again, or it's whatever. But I think because we were all so religiously coming back to the same spaces, it just naturally formed such a tight-knit community. We were just constantly seeing each other, wanting to chat about the thing that we were really into. We all felt like we had discovered this like hidden gem in the city. And so many people that I talked to are like, I had no idea that this scene existed in this city until I met this one person and they took me to this one thing, and then suddenly the whole world opened up. Like as soon as you find one, you start to find the others. And yeah, I think just like the curiosity of it, but then also the welcomeness of it. And I think I hadn't fully experienced that in the live music scene. I think the live music scene a lot of the time can feel, although supportive, also competitive. And it's also just so based on how you're performing on stage and the music that you're sharing and what you're writing. And it feels like such a personal presentation, which DJing does too, but I think in a more universal language. I think everybody can kind of connect to it, and there's so many different genres that can like overlap with each other, and you just end up meeting so many more people. Whereas in the live music scene, it's like, well, if you're making hip hop, you're only hanging out with the hip hop heads. But I find in the rave community, it's like, you know, I really like house, but I'm hanging out with people who play like 160 ppm techno that I'm never going to be interested in playing, but like we're friends and we get it. And there's like a shared connectivity and community in that.
Yeah. And there's a wider spectrum of like an overlap of things. Like you might not play it, but you can appreciate it and like it and support somebody else who's doing it.
Yeah.
Quick spitfire adjectives to describe the very specific pocket and scene that you facilitate, support, are part of in Van City Arts and Culture. Go.
Energetic, committed, creative, kooky. What else?
Describe the music or the art or that surrounds the scene as well.
Oh, the music. Man, like, yeah, energetic and melodic and, you know, connective. I think there's a really connective fabric to the music that's getting played. I think anyone, even if they don't necessarily like this genre, can come in and connect to something that happens that night and something that gets played that night. So I think just like a very connective, magnetic maybe. I think the music is really magnetic.
And the people?
Oh, the people.
What's the demographic of these people?
All walks of life.
Yes.
You know, like all age ranges. Some of my best friends are like 22.
Yeah.
And I love them, and it's so fun to listen to where they're at in their journey versus where I'm at. And then some of my other friends are like almost 50. And so I think a really diverse age range, a really diverse background. You know, we have people who grew up here. We've got people who are from around the globe. We have people who are from out east that are bringing in their scene. Americans that are coming up, you know. So I think it's just like super diverse, which sounds like kind of such a coined tag at this point, but it truly is just a community that continues to like, you just meet unique person after unique person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next pastry.
What do you
want to try?
I'm chatting.
Oh yeah.
I want to go sweet. I want that cookie.
Haha. Yeah. So apparently it has dark chocolate. It's got miso. This is the first time I've ever had miso in a cookie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you had from where?
Chocolate chip. Well, I've made them before.
Wait, what?
With miso.
Like miso chocolate chip?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, you just put like miso paste in your chocolate chip cookie dough, and it just adds this like salty umami. It's so good.
Let's go. I want to hear about how working now with, you know, this is like a lot of like DIY underground events in smaller pockets of community, but now working with Public Disco, Van Mural Fest, Base Coast, like these are huge, like thousands of people, you know, hundreds and thousands of people. How is it to work now on that capacity and that level and to impact like even larger audience and community?
I feel like it feels really cheesy, but every day I'm waking up now being like, wow, I get to sit at my desk and like do the thing I want to do and like pay my bills doing it. I mean, by no means are we rich in the art scene, but it's just nice.
That needs to change. Just saying.
It does need to change. But I do feel like just every day I feel very blessed to be able to like get up and work and do work that I deeply care about and be able to like, pay my bills doing that. Through working in tech, I learned a lot of project management skills and administrative skills and problem solving and just like, knowing how to like run a spreadsheet, which I know you understand. And I think when you're a creative and working in the creative industry, so much of my being wants to push away the thought of being organized or using a spreadsheet or writing a good email. But that's like really what drives a lot of progress. And I think is the biggest thing that has helped me achieve and do a lot of the things that I want to do is like honing in on those skills and having the privilege of getting to work in these larger tech companies and learning a lot of skill sets from that and then taking it and applying to this DIY scene that I already was like so passionate about. And so I think it's really like the combo of like having this like, I don't know, I really like being an organized person. I like doing the spreadsheet stuff. I like writing a good email, which I think not all creatives could say necessarily. So I feel kind of lucky that way that I naturally just kind of enjoy sitting down at my desk and typing away. I was showing Cassie earlier my like really sick
keyboard,
a mechanical keyboard that I have that I really like typing.
So it brings me back to being a 90s kid.
Yeah, totally. So I'm just like, I think that has really led into me being able to work these kinds of jobs. Because I think a lot of the time, as much as we'd like to be like, every creative job is just like, you wait and there's inspiration and you just get to play all day, every day. And a lot of it is, and a lot of it is just like an administrative slog that you just have to get through. And I think me being able to do that has really afforded me the opportunities that I've gotten. Part of it is having the skill and part of it is having the motivation and the organization, but a lot of it is just having people around you that believe in you and want to give you opportunities and help you get to that next step, you know?
Yes.
And
you're a rare breed. I relate to you because we're also both Cancers, so I have and possess very similar qualities of liking a spreadsheet and liking Excel or Notion or Airtable. Talk to me, Monday. Talk to me.
Talk to me about a project management tool.
Yeah, exactly. Can't say I like some, but those are the ones I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you're a rare breed of somebody who can have the organizational skills, as well as like understand vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and that part is like essentially as an event curator or producer, you're curating vibe.
Yeah.
Be reliable, be organized, understand vibe, go to things, support community, you know, and be willing to learn. Even if you don't know everything, like it's the attitude and the energy that makes people want to like have you on board and have you part of the community.
Yeah. And the idea of fake it till you make it, like fake it till you make it. Like, if you are not quite sure you know how to do the thing, if you're motivated enough, you will figure out how to do the thing, and you'll figure it out very quickly. And also the organized and vibe thing, I think you can have both things, but finding the balance between the two has probably been my biggest journey in the last 10 years, because I think I headed into it being very like, we have to be super organized, and I don't want to lose money on this party, and I would sacrifice the vibe sometimes for the sake of being organized, or would take too much energy out of wanting to be organized and ruining the vibe. Like, if you are too type A and trying to really just, you know, you ruin the vibe. So you have to know when it's like, okay, it's organized enough, and it's okay if it doesn't all go perfectly. And I think experiencing things not going perfectly more gets you more comfortable with things not going perfectly too, you know? Like, I think that is a bit of a journey in anybody's creative process, is knowing like when it's time to like get it all organized, and then when it's time to just like let things happen. I think a lot of the time people can think that party throwing is like this individualistic venture and you're like giving it to the people, but really you're creating something with the people.
Yeah, it's a co-creation.
Yeah.
Who would you say are the major players right now that are contributing to the arts and cultural scene?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Well, the ones that you like, who you can think of right now that you're really stoked on.
I mean, like, to your point of younger folks coming in and throwing parties, I think that, and also more diverse, like when I was going out, there was some diversity, but it wasn't the same. And it was, you know, I was going to a lot of all dude lineups, and all dude parties.
Oh,
and
when that was a thing. Still a thing for some places, but not relevant to me anymore.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think in that moment, that also is what inspired me to like kind of carve out space and be like, okay, I want to be a part of this. I want to be the one throwing the party, you know? Some of these boys don't know what they're doing with their lighting. And like, they need help.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that, but I think taking that feeling and then seeing it with the collectives that are happening now and just being so proud of them for like carving out space and wanting to do things. And not all of them are young, but I think, you know, like Normie and Drill and Gateo, like I've gotten to know like Gateo over the last little, they're so cool. You know, I had Brendocha come play one of the public disco things and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, big shout outs to Brenda.
Yeah, and like a lot of those parties are not necessarily the music that I'm playing that I'm really into, but I could still have just like so much respect for the spaces that they're carving out, especially for young queers. Like when I was first going out in the scene, like back then the queer parties that you could go to were still really kind of more mainstream or at more above ground bars. There wasn't a ton, at least
Davie Street was your option.
Yeah, you know, and there was like a few spots that they were more geared towards a specific queer community and not necessarily as inclusive. And I think it just is really cool to see how that's grown over time. The Birdhouse is like such a special venue for so many different collectives to be able to come in and throw in events. And like their in-house events are really great. It's cool to see other collectives come in and transform that space and bring in their communities. And I think that has been a really special place for me to get to know over the last year or so. And yeah, and I mean, like, getting to do events with people who've been doing events for a long time, like getting to connect with Max Eulis and do events with him and see his approach to stuff. I just feel like everybody is kind of coming in from their own corner and their own interests, and it's been a really cool way to see everybody cross over. And I don't know, I just feel like there's probably so many I'm missing. And also a lot of DJs who, and Weirdos Inc. How could I forget Weirdos Inc.? Like, the stuff that they're doing is just so interesting. I really like them because they're coming in and just making it not just like, we got the DJs and the music and there's a party. It's like, we're going to do some weird stuff.
Thus Weirdos Inc.
And we're going to make people think about things or have a funny interaction.
What are you excited about coming up?
Oh my God. My New Year's Eve party, actually. I'm doing a New Year's Eve party with Max Eulis.
Tell the peoples. Is it a full house?
It's a full house party.
I wanted to actually jump back into that. Can you explain the concept of full house? Because it's new. And did I go to the first one?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. With Prosumer.
Yes. Who came from New York, but originally from Berlin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And was amazing.
Yeah.
That was such a fun night.
I know. I loved him. Mm-hmm. It was such a good set. Full house. I don't know. You know, Max and I have become fast friends over the last year. He booked me to play one of his shows last December. And I think we talk about this a lot. We play soccer and he's a center midfield, which if you know soccer, center midfield, going back to the organized controlling thing, center midfield is the controlling position. You're in the center and you're organizing everything. So I think he and I have just really ripped off of that. Yeah. And also just our love of house music. And I think, you know, Vancouver's in an era right now where house music isn't always the first thing that you're going to hear at the parties, which is okay. There's so many interesting sounds coming out. But I think he and I were just like, we want to throw house music parties. And so we had done, initially we did one party together as a collab, and then we had also collabed together with Public Disco this past summer. And so we kind of got working together through those things. And then we were like, maybe we should not do a collab thing. Maybe we should just come up with a name for this so it's a little more concise.
Yeah, and have a new umbrella.
Yeah, and we were like riffing. We were like, what if Vancouver Special? We were like wanting to do something with a house, you know? And then I was
Vancouver
like,
Special would have been sick.
I know,
actually.
Yeah, and I was like, what if we did a Vancouver Special, whatever? And then we were kind of looking, we're like, I don't know. And then I was like looking at logos for this, and I was like, oh my God, why don't we just rip off Full House? Like, the TV show has the logo in there already. It just feels right.
You're right.
You know, and I feel like Full House it just carries the right energy, you know? I think Vancouver Special is like, I don't know, Vancouver Special is a little cold. Well, I don't know. I feel like a Full House is a better vibe. But yeah, I think he and I just had this like appreciation for wanting to like throw some like really warm, energetic feeling dance floors that I think I just like remember experiencing a lot in like 2017, 2018 when house music was a bit of a thing, and just this like really warm, energetic housey night. That's really exciting. And
Base Coast?
Yeah, very excited for Base Coast.
Because you played for your first time this past year, and now you're the executive assistant.
Yeah.
So you're really getting like a bird's eye view of everything, of what it takes. Big shout out to the librarian and the whole Base Coast squad, like what it takes to make this happen.
Yeah.
I've never experienced this yet.
Yeah, totally. They're such a cool group of people. It's like just very inspirational to see someone or like a group of people be like, you know, we're going to do this festival, and to just like, you know, they've been doing it for 17 years, so it's just really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the longevity.
Yeah. So it's just really cool to like hear their thoughts and processes on how they build this, and just to get the behind the scenes. I mean, working at Vancouver Mural Festival this past summer too was also a really sweet behind the scenes of like how you pull something at that scale together to book multiple stages. Like that was my first time curating for multiple stages on a day, and to see them have to do that at this scale with Base Coast, it's just really, really cool. I'm just excited to be at the festival. I think it's fun to work on any party and then eventually have it come to life, you know? Like I'm playing a smaller part in the whole thing, but it's just cool to see the behind the scenes and then get to be there when it all comes together. So
it's that moment where you're like, then the party is happening, and everyone who's been part of organizing it like have a moment where you're like, this is why we do it.
No, literally. I always call it when the emails have become real life.
Yeah.
And like the party has officially exited the email inbox is like how I feel about it.
When you put your automatic responder.
Yeah, when the auto receiver, you're like, I'm on, it's event day. And you're like, bye-bye, there are no longer any emails to be sending. Yeah. Whatever's going to happen, that's going to happen.
Text me. Yeah. This is where I'm
Call
at
me
now.
and I probably won't answer.
Oh my gosh. I think I want to just end on this question of, you know, how 5 years from now, people from other parts of the world, how do you want them to know, or what do you want them to be saying about Van City's arts and cultural scene?
That we deserve the attention, and we deserve people to want to make the effort to come out here and play a show. I think a lot of the time, one of our biggest barriers with booking international DJs or artists or getting people to come out here is it doesn't feel worth the trip. And then I feel like anyone that does make the trip is always like, wow, I had no idea that it was like this here. And I mean, at the same time too, I think internationally there are lots of people who do know that it is like this here. And I think on the flip side, we have people in our city who don't realize that people globally really respect our city and the scene that we have. So I think it's like this really well-known gem, but also still this very hidden gem at the same time. And I just think anybody that has the time or wants to make the effort to come here and connect with this scene, like, you won't regret it. And once you connect with this scene will always hold on to you, and they will always invite you back. Like, I think anybody that I've seen come through here is so ready for another trip to come back here and hang out with us. So
underrated is the word I want to add there.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, you know, you go to other big cities that have such a vibrant arts and cultural scene, like New York, for example. And no shade to New York, because you are the mecca and the originator of so many amazing social arts and cultural movements. But, like, from a smaller scene, to feel really embraced, and that people are like, you're from out of town? Like, you got to go to this, this, and this, and I'll take you. Like, to make that effort and create that community vibe where you really feel welcome and held and taken care of, like, that is rare.
It is.
And that is what is special about us.
Yep, it's true.
Yes. Well, Elsa, you were amazing.
Thank you.
Love you long time.
Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the coffee.
Thanks for the treats.
Thank you, Annabelle Choi, for your amazing brain
Yeah.
And creations. And big shout out to Sean as well for shooting this live stream. Everyone who's tuned in, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Watch the replay. And yeah, this has been another episode of Van City Beats, Eats, and more.